everybody. We have to say we're missing Vaughn today. He is away on some other business, but we will keep this show going. And we have a topic today, which I find very, very interesting for
Hmm.
so many reasons. And that topic is current BS.
There's a lot of it.
There is so much of it. But
Where you want to start? I know where I want to start.
okay, how about you start there, man? Let's
First,
go.
I want your
Let's,
opinion on this whole Will Smith thing. The
okay,
fish slapping the zebra.
okay,
If you haven't seen it, Google fish slapping the zebra. It's pretty funny.
okay. So my opinion on this whole Will Smith thing, and I just want to take you and the listeners back to my experience of waking up yesterday, and my phone is just banging with messages, right? And like I kind of I detach away from my phone. I don't sleep with it in my room on the charger, all that kind of stuff. So to
You have
hear
an
all
iPhone, right?
iPhone,
You use the bedtime deal.
no, we need
Oh,
to
it's
talk
awesome.
about that. We
Yeah.
need to talk about
Use a
that.
bedtime feature on your phone. It darkens your phone at X and then it silences itself. You can tell it when to do it, and then it sets an alarm for the next morning.
And that's one to grow on
Yeah.
for all you 70s, late 70s, early 80s babies. But so getting back to my day yesterday and this whole Will Smith thing. So I'm in a few text groups, okay? A couple golf groups, couple college buddies, things of that nature. And my phone is just jumping, right? And so I go to check messages and everyone is talking about the slap, right?
Which, by the way, I thought was staged. When somebody first said it, I was like, that's staged.
Stage. Okay.
It's got to be.
And so I'm just looking at all this attention that's going to a slap. Yeah, it's televised and things of that nature, but I'm saying to myself, damn, why we can't get together this much on something that really matters in life? Like, why we can't put energy
All
towards.
right, but I'm talking. Yes,
Yeah, I'm saying, but this is just my
I
reaction
got
because
you.
a lot of things that go on in the world, man, I have to be conscious of myself and make sure that I don't attach too
I
much
got
to it.
you. But
And
but
so
what's your opinion on the slap?
I thought it was bullshit. I thought it was bullshit, but at the same time,
Why?
on the other side of that, I felt sorry for Will Smith. And the reason I say that is we look at the actions, right? And as human beings, we're so reactive in our thinking because, in my opinion, we think emotionally. We don't take a conscious thought
Okay,
about it.
but did you actually watch the video of what Chris Rock said?
I did not see what he said. I did
Okay,
not see how it all went down. I'm just looking at the action. And
Chris Rock made a joke. I'm looking forward to GI Jane 2,
okay,
Jada Pickett.
okay.
That one didn't go over so well. Will Smith walks up there. I think if I read something that said he put his hands behind his back. Chris Rock did, and Will Smith slapped him. Walked off, and then I'm gonna give a bigger opinion, but I'm trying to get and then get my wife's name out of your fucking mouth. He said to him twice.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. Okay. Again.
Yeah, and then if you keep watching, Chris Rock goes into like this downtrodden, you know, like he didn't even know where to go. Like me writing just like he didn't even know what to do next. It completely threw him off.
I get it. I get it. I get it. And so
And
go
I'm gonna
ahead.
go,
Go
but
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Cause
you're gonna feel sorry for Will Smith when he was 100% the aggressor.
I felt sorry for the whole situation. Let me
I don't know. That's not
rephrase it.
what I said. Will Smith. Like you got Denzel Washington sitting there telling Will Smith, when you get to the top, the devil's coming from you. That ain't the fucking devil. That's your bad joke. That's not the devil. No, nobody's gonna sit out there and start talking about, oh well, the devil's gay. Yeah, it was the devil in me. Man, it wasn't the fucking devil in you. It was your fucking choice to get up there and do that.
Yes.
Then you want to cry like a bitch when you're getting your award. But hold on, I'm so you feel sorry for Will Smith.
And Chris Rock.
So if you had to do a 1 to 10, how sorry do you feel for Will Smith, and then how sorry do you feel for Chris Rock?
an 11 for Will Smith.
Anybody watching,
And
man, I really need y'all to give me your. I'm that's a question for everybody.
everybody.
There's only fucking 2 of you, but that's fine.
That's
I want to
okay.
see it.
I take that.
I
I'll
need
take
y'all to
that.
participate in this,
Now, I on a scale of 1 to 10, how sorry
please.
do I feel for Chris Rock as well as Will Smith? Will
Right.
Smith, 11, maybe 12.
1 out of 10. How the fuck you get to 11? Don't you know the
That's
rules? It's the rules, man. Just like laws, don't speed. 1 to 10.
10.
Okay.
10.
Chris Rock.
Chris Rock, 7 to 8.
So the victim has less. You feel worse for the to give a better example.
And I can explain
You
both
feel
of them.
worse for the shooter than you do for the person who got shot. That's what you. That's basically if we.
Now,
You
if we
feel
put it in that
worse
scenario, it'll
for.
be different. I'm speaking about this particular
No,
one, and
I'm talking about,
and
but
I'll
I'm
explain
trying to
both of
make
them.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so explain to me why Will Smith.
Mhm.
You feel more sorry for Will Smith than you do for Chris Rock.
For the simple fact that I understand behaviors. I understand.
And that's that.
Now, you asked my
I know, but
opinion, right?
I need, well, Will Smith had more to lose,
It-
or Chris Rock's a bitch, or I like Will Smith more. It can't be. You can't. This is one of those things you can't fucking put a bow on it and say, oh well, you know, Will Smith's had so much problems, and he's had all these things. It doesn't fucking matter.
It don't.
It doesn't matter. That man, I actually looked it up because I was curious how old that man is. I am 48 years old. Now, if Will Smith was in his 20s, I'd even give him into his 30s,
Okay.
and he jumped his ass up there and that happened, I'd be like, damn, you done fucked with a 6'2", you know, 20 to 38-year-old man. That motherfucker 53 years old.
And what
He's
does
old
that
enough
have?
to have grandkids.
Is that too old to be psychologically imbalanced?
No, no,
To
no.
be
Hold on. I don't want
depressed?
to go
To
there
be
yet.
stressed?
I don't want to go there yet. So that is your thing because Will Smith and everything in his life, and it culminated in him slapping Chris Rock, and you're just you feel worse. I can't imagine anybody who watched that whole video and the look that was on Chris Rock's face because he tried to play it off, and then Will Smith dug in. So as he's trying to save face and backtrack, Will Smith again yells at him, keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth."
Yes.
And then he just goes into this deer in the headlights. Anybody who fucking watches that and feels worse, that is the most. Yeah, but I'm gonna
So,
let you. I'm gonna
yeah.
say.
So let
I'm
me
gonna give
explain.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, we talking to Mafio the Reminder. Control your mind, control your world. Because
He didn't control his mind, so
I,
your shit just went out the window.
just listen to me.
All right.
Can I? Again, we're talking to Mafio the Reminder.
Okay.
Control your mind, control your world. Because if you don't, some person, place, thing, or situation will.
Okay.
This is a classic example of Will not controlling his mind. And like so many of us on the face of this earth, we operate on our feelings and emotions, and that be the determiner of what choice or decision we're going to make, whether conscious or unconscious. This is the decision we make. You understand what I'm saying? Because of the feelings and emotions. And I say all the time, Zach, you know me, and everybody else that know me. When making the choice or decision, I remove my feelings and emotions from the equation because in the past, from experience, it has made me do some very uncharacteristic behaviors, as well as make some very uncharacteristic choices and decisions. And I've learned that in my life. Apparently, Will probably have never been pushed to those pressures. So when it come down to it, he's psychologically fucked up right now. And I don't know what it is because I'm not around
He
him. I don't
laughed
know
at the
what.
joke.
Man, listen,
He
man,
it was
listen.
only until Jada looked at him and gave him some sort of fucking side eye did he get up and go up there and do it. He laughed at the joke. He thought it was fucking funny.
Again, feelings and emotions. We react from the surface, bro. We need to know ourselves from within. And apparently, he didn't know himself from within at that point in time. From the time he laughed at the joke, from the time he observed his wife, and the whole time it took him to walk up there and commit that act or make that choice of decision, he was psychologically fucked up, bro. And I don't care what nobody say. He allowed his person, place, thing, or situation to control him instead of him controlling this person, place, thing, or situation. Again, this mind control shit is
Okay,
for
so
real.
before I go on, before I do any, so you think that things that happen in a person's life allows them to have mishaps, to allow Will Smith to do something like that because he's got shit going on. It excuses his action.
I'm definitely not justifying his action.
I'm not but it excuses
and it does not excuse his action. It does not. His action
so
is
should
his
there
action.
be any ramifications?
It depends on who you ask. And the reason I say that,
I'm asking you. I'm not asking anybody else. Should there be any more
that's not my plate
ramifications?
to eat off of because where I come
No. But
from,
nobody's telling you you're not going to make a decision. But nobody's telling you you're going to make a decision. If you right now, if the Oscars, because they can take his Oscar away from him. So let's remember this. First of all, he was allowed to go back to his seat and sit there for the entire time. No repercussions. And the Oscars has a code of conduct which he violated, which also means that they can take his award away from him, which is most likely why his punk bitch ass put out that bullshit excuse of an apology that he put out yesterday. And by the way, I hope, I mean, Will Smith's got a ton of fucking money. I hope Chris Rock ends up, with Will Smith kind of money. I mean, actually, I hope Chris Rock ends up with Will Smith's fucking money. So, but we're hold on. But so, if the Oscars called you, would you say yes? You we're gonna take it. So the Oscars put out, the Academy, whatever the fuck call themselves, they put out a statement that said, we're going to review it. I don't know what the fuck there is to review. It's on video.
Mm-hmm.
He says what he says.
Mhm.
Dude gets up, slaps him in the face, goes back to his seat, then continues to threaten him. Because get my wife's name out your fucking mouth when he hadn't even said her name again, or even if he had, that's just a threat like you're going to come back again. Which is why I don't understand why they didn't pull Will Smith out of the fucking deal. Like, dude, you and your wife need to get your bitch asses up and y'all need to go on and get the fuck out of here because we can't have a show with you pulling shit like that. Because if he's so mentally unstable, then he shouldn't fucking be there. Because that's what you're saying. He's so mentally unstable that he stood his bitch ass up, slapped Chris Rock, and went back to his seat. That's not very mentally unstable. That is premeditated. That not premeditated because he didn't know it was going to happen. But then he continues to do it, and he was never removed. I'm starting to get into my shit. But so you're saying though, because he had what if it was your decision, would you take his Oscar? The Academy calls you, says Mafio the reminder. We want you to make the decision. We feel that you're the best person to do so. Do you take his Oscar?
After I review their legislation on their rules, then I can
no
make
assaulting people.
No assaulting people. If that's the parameters or the ramifications, I'm sorry, the terms or the basis for that, take the shit. It's, you know what I'm saying? Take the shit. Take the shit. I don't care about.
You don't care, but it's a big deal to them.
I don't give a fuck about them,
obviously
bro.
he was crying like a little bitch when he got it.
I don't care about them.
You don't care about Will Smith? You just said you cared about his feelings and how he felt on that day when he did that to him. All right, so we're gonna go into mine. We're gonna go.
Can I get my Chris Rock though?
Yeah, his 7. Give me how you feel. Not as much sorry for Chris Rock as Will Smith. Why don't you feel bad for Chris Rock, the person who got assaulted?
I said 7 to 8, and I'll stand on 8.
Even if it's below, it's below. It doesn't even. And the reason 9.5.
And the reason I say that is, I say 8 that I feel bad for him, but I say 2, that other 2 in that 10, I'm actually clapping for him and admiring him because where I come from, and I'm finna wrap this all up. And I could just speak from my experiences in life and how my mind has been formed. Where I come from, bro, if you slap me, it's on. Ain't no
Okay,
second guessing.
we're gonna move
Wait,
on.
wait, wait,
No,
wait.
no, no, no. We're gonna have a portion of this for that.
Okay.
But Chris Rock is famous for being the picked on kid. He used comedy like a lot of comedians do because he wasn't a big guy. I mean, Will Smith 6'2", um, Chris Rock 5'10". I mean, we're there. There is a huge Chris Rock. I mean, he's shorter than I am.
Okay.
But if you go back in the old days, you can't just go and say what we're actually gonna we're actually gonna talk about there, John. Give me 1 second.
Go ahead.
So he's famous for being the picked on kid, the bullied kid. He's famous for it. So he's not like he's some badass.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So my turn.
Go ahead.
First of all, fuck Will Smith, you punk ass bitch. Nobody's saying I could take you, but I damn sure, just like you said, I'm going out like a fucking champ. If you'd have slapped me like that, it'd have been fucking on. Especially if I had a microphone, that bitch was wild. I'd been spinning. Pow! I would have knocked you the fuck out. I don't care if you turned around. You might have whooped my ass in the end, but just like with any bully or anybody like that, nobody wants to get hit. Fucking fight back. Although I do think of it like this. I cannot imagine. Chris Rock, go get your fucking money. Get your fucking money. I mean, like I said, you know, Will Smith's got a ton of fucking money. Not only should you be as rich as Will Smith, you should have Will Smith's fucking money.
And what is that gonna solve that?
It doesn't matter
curious.
what it's all. People like that, people that are money, and Will Smith is one of them bougie ass motherfuckers building the fancy and then talking how he's gonna help everybody. And fuck you. Get your money. That's number one. But yes, I think the smartest thing Chris Rock did, and he said he hadn't filed charges. So as I know right now, he's not gonna file charges.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Dave, you saw me get in front of some pretty big people because I'm fine taking an ass whooping. I ain't going out like no punk. But to me, I mean, we've seen the movies Will Smith's in. That dude's pretty ripped. I've seen Chris Rock's ripped for a 5'10" dude, but he's still 5'10", you 6'2". He could have walked up to that stage, yelled out there, "Hey man, y'all need to shut these mics off," and got in Chris Rock's face and said, "Man, we only got one of two choices. You publicly talk some shit about my wife, you will publicly apologize for what you just said to my wife. If you don't, there will be repercussions." That's what a 53-year-old man does. You're telling me if you don't have that opportunity, Will Smith is so fucked up. If that's true and Will Smith is so fucked up that you're giving him that he's mentally unstable, he should be in no more movies. There should be no more movies because Will Smith's so fucked up. I mean, I get it. Jada done cheated on me and little motherfuckers crying on Oprah. I mean, he's got all his fucking issues. This man slapped some dude in the face and then got up there and cried like a bitch. Now, I would have given him a little bit of leeway. It would have been a very small amount of leeway. But you know, he apologized to the Academy and everybody else and not Chris Rock. Not until Monday morning. If he'd have said, where the fuck, during his speech, where the fuck is Chris Rock? I owe him an apology in front of everybody. Get his ass out here. Chris, please come out here. I shouldn't have done it, but he didn't do it. He cried like a little bitch, and then he apologized to everybody except for the motherfucker. He said, I told you, man, I fucking hate bullies. And that is a bully ass fucking move.
I get it.
I wasn't a nice kid in high school, but I saw how it affected other people, not only at that time, but afterwards.
Yes.
And it pisses me off that somebody would do that. I've told you the story about old boy at the golf event. And I've
get it.
told you his name. He done knocked me the fuck out. But I'm going out like a champ. But I'm not going to let you pick on this little dude.
I get it.
David's done it. Many a times David's done it.
I get it.
Many a times. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to throw you out there, David. But to me, that makes you a punk ass bitch.
And I get it, man. And see, again, to you, that's your life experience.
No.
Wait,
Normal
but can I
humanity
finish?
is not okay with a 6'2" man bitch slapping, because remember, you're not hitting somebody when you do that. You're not hitting somebody. You're not hitting somebody like a man. You're hitting somebody like a bitch. If you were truly mad, unless Will Smith just runs around in all his movies, I've never seen him in an action movie bitch slap somebody. So he's used to closing his fist. Slapping somebody is you can hit me all day long. Matter of fact, let's get that straight. You hit me, that's one thing. You slap me, oh dear God. That is.
Hey, Zach, can I make a distinction real quick?
Sure.
Check this out. The culture I come from, hit, slap, damn near verbal disrespect of any kind. It's grounds for consequences, bro. And we're gonna hold you to that. But because I learned the skill of controlling myself,
so you're saying a 53-year-old man
I don't
can't
care what the
himself.
age is. You can't put a number on maturity.
So
you
we
can't put a number
people
on life skills and self-control. You can't put a number on that.
But we cannot continue to allow everybody to do whatever the fuck they want and chalk it up to fucking, oh, well, he's got emotional. You can't do that.
I never said I did.
But you
Or
do.
would.
You excused him and said that
say I
Chris
excused
Rock
him.
was a 7 or 8.
But you never
and
heard
you're
my
fin-
explanation of why.
So
How
without going
like
into like some elongated thing, it can't be that long.
Like-
There has to be a simple reason why you think that Will Smith deserves more compassion, we'll call it compassion, than Chris Rock.
If you hear me out,
I'm going to hear you out.
I will explain my position.
All right.
Okay.
I'm looking at the clock.
Now, with Will Smith, whether you want to accept it or not, that was a prime example of temporary insanity. He was temporarily insane. God damn it. And again, he wasn't mindful of his actions. He wasn't mindful of that. His emotions said, protect my wife. He went up there and protect his wife, not thinking about the consequences of none of that shit. None of that shit was in the equation of his goddamn decision making.
So
none of it. Hold up, bear with me.
His wife was
me.
not. No, because you just said something
to me, bro.
No, because you got to do it by pieces. You can't just do some elongated story and say you can't say anything. His wife was not under threat. Chris Rock was not charging after her with the fucking sword. There was no physical issue that she was in danger of. He was laughing at the joke, which I just saw that, David, but he was laughing at the joke. So it wasn't that big of a fucking deal. So you can't say he immediately heard it and was like, oh, motherfucker, come on. He didn't do that. He sat there and laughed.
Didn't?
He sat there. No, he sat there in his chair like.
So at what point did the slap come? When he looked at his wife and saw her hurt?
No.
Emotions.
She was like.
Emotions. You think she really said go up there and slap that dude?
I don't know what the fuck she said to him.
Regardless, even if my wife said go up there and slap that dude, I'm not finna just go slap that dude because I understand
so we excuse
consequences and repercussions.
Okay, so you gave one side of it, and so but
I gave one part of it.
Right. But if you have a part, you can't just jumble a whole bunch of parts.
Man, I'm finna put a book together, and if you read half the book or a few chapters of a book and tell me you understand what this book about, I don't agree.
So you're giving him temporary insanity. So by the way, Chris Rock, if you file charges, he's just gonna say he was temporary insane.
And I'm not talking about from a legal aspect. I'm talking from a psychological and emotional and self-control aspect. That's what I'm speaking from. And again, that temporary insanity, I know it was temporary because
he wouldn't have kept digging into it.
Bro, how you gonna?
And an hour later, but in an hour later, he didn't even fucking apologize. He apologized to everybody except for who he fucking hit. If it was temporary insanity, when you come out of it, you have a realization.
He still probably haven't even come out of this shit. He's
sitting there having a discussion he's having an entire conversation about what happened with Denzel Washington and some other motherfucker that are telling him the devil's coming from you.
Exactly.
Just hand him a fucking excuse. I can't
Exactly.
stand people who give a yes. Go
Again,
ahead. Your second point.
Again, I didn't see the shit, right? But he accept.
But I'm
Wait,
telling you.
wait, let me. Go ahead, tell me, bro, so I can.
No,
get
I
my,
just told
my
you. You said
spiel
you
out.
hadn't seen it. It was an hour later when
I
he
had a
accepted.
question about it,
Okay,
though.
go.
And my question is, he received this award after the slap, right?
An hour later.
Okay,
Yes.
and he was crying, right?
Yes.
At that point, he realized I fucked up. Whether you want to say that or not, at that point, he realized I fucked up. Still in that temporary insanity phase.
Okay.
And on the latter part
I'm
of
with
it,
you. No, you
can I
can't
finish?
because no, you can't because you were correct.
Okay, I can't finish.
But he gave a speech about it, right, and apologized to the Academy. So you're saying he's still temporarily insane, but he knows what he did, and he knows what he did was wrong. But he doesn't apologize to the one person he should be apologizing to.
Okay.
And that's okay.
No, it's not okay to hit nobody. It's not without, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to give you my opinion on it, which you asked.
All right, how about this?
And again,
it says 26 minutes, and I'm going to give you 20 seconds. I'm going to give you to 30. I'm not going to say a fucking word.
And I'm not saying don't say a fucking word. I'm just saying if you ask me a question, hear me out and hear my explanation.
I'm giving it to you. You got go.
And again, when he accepted that award, he was coming still in that temporary insanity shit. And I noticed because he crying. You're not fucking crying because you got this fucking Oscar over this movie. You crying because of what happened an hour ago. All right. And to move on to the Chris Rock part, I say I get an 8 for compassion from him because I want to clap for him and praise him for the other 2 of that 10. And the reason I say that, again, what culture, where I come from, you smack me, bro. It ain't no, it's a non-conscious reaction in my culture where I come from. You about to get served. I don't care where I come from. It's not about size. It's not about status. It's not about none of that. Yo, you disrespect me. It's consequences and repercussions. And there's no thought about that. You understand what I'm saying? So I feel for Chris Rock. I applaud Chris Rock for not retaliating and keeping his what I know it was shock. It was shock to the whole fucking world. But at the same time, I think he did the best he could do with the situation at hand. Will Smith just fucked everything up, bro. And again, where I come from, this is why you hear about so many teen deaths, so many motherfuckers getting shot, and all this because people don't think about the consequences and repercussions of their actions. A lot of people don't know themselves. You understand what I'm saying? Self-awareness is a motherfucker, bro. And if I'm faced with any kind of dilemma, whether it's with my wife, whether it's with my mama, I know that coming out disrespecting someone by putting my hands on them is not going to be my first option. It's not going to be my first option. So, you know, you take it for what you want to, man. But Will Smith, pressure, man, bust pipes, bro. Whether you want to believe it or not. We all human beings, man. And I don't give a fuck. Money don't buy happiness. Money don't buy mental stability and all this kind of shit. You can do any of that. Have all the money in the fucking world and still be fucked up on the inside. And that's the problem. We look at people from the surface and not the inside. Bro, I look at everybody from the inside out. Like,
this has nothing to do with Will Smith now. So I'm giving
this
you.
have everything to do with
it
Will
has
Smith.
nothing. It's you. I mean, you keep going. You got another 40 seconds.
It has everything to do with Will Smith because, again, we look at people from the surface and don't want to know about the inside. We don't even explore the inside. You understand what I'm saying? Man, he's been through so much with that marriage. We don't know what he's going through. Chris Rock, man, I promise you, bro. My hat go off to that brother, man, because I couldn't beat him. I couldn't have performed the way he did. I don't think so. But if I had to put myself in that position, I think I really could have come up with a better outcome. If I was Will Smith, I know for sure I'd have came up with a different outcome. So go ahead.
So here's the deal. I don't give a fuck what you have going on in your life.
That's the problem.
No. It's not the problem.
I'm sorry. That's the discrepancy.
No. Because you want to basically say, hey, man, you got something going on. Do whatever the fuck you want. You got some shit going on in your life. There's your excuse. Go ahead and fucking do it. David, I posted it up there. Do you think he would have went up there and slapped Dwayne Johnson? If Dwayne Johnson would have made the same joke, it wasn't temporary insanity. He looked up there. Homeboy made a joke. He laughed at the joke. Wife got pissy about it, and he thought, well, fuck, I'm gonna have to do something about this shit, or I'm gonna have to live with this fucking bitch looking at me sideways for the next 20 years. So he
Operating
got
off
his ass
emotions.
up there,
Operating off emotions.
knowing he got up there knowing that Chris Rock couldn't take him.
He didn't know that shit.
Man, bullshit.
He didn't even compute that shit in his thing.
Bullshit.
My wife got goddamn it disrespected.
So you're saying,
I'm finna stand up for
it. But that's your thought process. Hey man, if you got something going on and I'm at a restaurant, you can give me bad service. It's fine. You got some shit going on.
I didn't say that.
You're driving around, you got road rage. I understand, man. You ran my car and ran off. It's okay. You got shit going on. Maybe you lost your job and your girlfriend's leaving you. We allow people not to be decent human beings by saying, oh, well, you got some shit going on in your life. So, I'm going to excuse you doing that. Oh, you shot old boy? I completely understand. Your dad passed away and that excuses you from doing whatever you want to do. That's what we've come to in the world, is allowing people to do whatever the fuck they want. And basically, oh, well, you got shit going on, so we're just gonna give it to you. It doesn't, but you want to do that, but you have this cop up in, I think it was McKinney, who tackled the girl in the bathing suit. You remember that, like 4 or 5 years ago
at the pool party?
But
I remember.
And everybody wanted his head on a spigot, but come to find out, he had just come from a teenage kid who had committed suicide. So he had shit going on. Where the fuck was his compassion? Although, dude, don't fucking tackle a girl. I mean, if she's walking away, fucking, she's a young kid, man. Just go to her house, tell her parents. I have to say, there's quite a few parents be like, you did what? You walked away from a police officer? Police officer told you to stop? You guys were doing something you shouldn't have been doing, and you decided just to fucking walk off? But there are... I'm literally fed up with the idea that you got shit going on in your life, which excuses you to do whatever the fuck you want.
I never
said, hey, Will Smith,
I never said it excuse
if your wife cheats on you again or whatever, you can just go fucking murder the dude. It'll be temporary insanity. It'll all be cool, dude. That's what we're saying.
That's temporary. Who is insanity. We?
You just said it, that it was excused because he has mental illness.
I never said it was excused.
But then you say one minute.
I never said it was excused.
Then you say one minute.
I just gave you an example of social behavioral sciences.
But it doesn't matter, because let's say you give him. So let's go through what I view as all the mistakes. No. What I view as all the mistakes. Number one, Chris Rock says it. Will Smith doesn't go up there and at least be like, grab a hold of him. You could have done anything but assault it. You could have grabbed a hold of somebody's like, hey man, you publicly shame my wife. You need a 53-year-old fucking man. I'm 48 years old. That motherfucker got 5 years on my ass. I promise you, in 5 years. Now, don't get me wrong, David. You remember these days. But 2030, I'm gonna give you a little bit of leeway. But you're halfway through your fucking life, and you're telling me you don't have life skills. Don't give me that shit.
At that point.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't have self-control skills at that point.
He didn't want self-control.
He didn't have self-control at that point.
He was like, hey man, that's a little motherfucker. I can take, man, I'm gonna go slap shit out of it.
You think his decision was based
I fucking
on size?
Do. That is a long. One of the things that I saw on the news was how long. Wasn't like a no.
Influence.
Watch the fucking video. He has to get out of his seat, go up the fucking ramp. So let's say he doesn't, and he slaps the shit out of him. The next part's on the people who work there, the Academy, the Oscars. I don't understand what the fuck y'all are, but he wasn't removed. That's mistake number 2. Number 3, I mean, I don't know how temporary insanity, because you can't tell right from wrong. Yet he gets up, wins the award, which they shouldn't have even allowed him to do that. Then he apologizes to the Academy, admits that, I got the most of me, crying like a little bitch, and doesn't even apologize to the person that he assaulted. So even if I give you the first one of his, I absolutely fucking refuse to give you the second one.
I have a question. I have a question to you, and I have a question to all of our listeners. My question is, can you just think back at some point in your life where you did something, okay? And later, whatever the time after that, later after that, you realize, damn, why did I do that? Or shit, I fucked up. Just think about that, bro. In that moment that y'all committed that act, were you really thinking about the outcome and how this shit can really play out at that point? And that's just something to ponder. And the reason I say that is, again, we're humans. And a
No,
lot
I
of
don't
us,
want to go into the theory yet. No, I don't
it's
want to go
not
off into
theory.
some fucking theory of it. But an hour later, when he knew he had done it wrong, because that's what you're saying.
So
is
you want an
he
apology?
Didn't know the next day.
You want an apology?
No, he knew he was wrong. He fucking admitted it in his acceptance speech.
I just said it because he didn't have to admit it. Again, actions speak louder than words. When he was crying, I knew he was fucked up and regretted what he did.
But he didn't
have to
regret
say
the person he did. And let's go to your 10 to 8. So you feel worse for the person who assaulted than you do for the victim.
No.
Isn't that victim blaming? No. Isn't that like a big fucking deal? We're going to victim blame. I have more compassion for Will Smith than I do. So you're blaming the victim. That's not
what I said.
But that's not what.
Listen to the whole context.
No.
Well,
10 is you feel worse for Will Smith than you do for Chris Rock. That means the victim gets less compassion than the person who committed the assault.
Okay. Now listen to this question, listeners. And Zach, you said, you feel, I don't feel, bro. I don't operate off of feelings and emotions. I take shit for what it is at face value.
Okay.
First
face
and foremost,
value.
At face value.
Victim.
It's not about feelings.
No,
it's not about
feelings. All right, we're gonna go legal 101.
Now fuck the legal system. I don't care about you. Know I don't.
And
care
we
about
have the fucking no. How about human fucking rights? How about in the Bible? How about that? You want to do it? Victim, right? And the person who committed the assault.
Yes.
You have more compassion for the person who committed the assault. You feel worse for the what I call the shooter, because in the end, it's the only way I can. So the person who committed the assault, the criminal, than you do for the victim. So you're victim blaming.
It's the caveat that you're leaving out.
I don't know. I just love the whole victim.
It's the caveat. And listen,
we get emotional, but we know each other, so it's all good.
I love this guy. He's my brother. But again, listeners, he's leaving the caveat out. And the caveat is, yeah, I gave Chris Rock an 8. But the caveat that 2, my heart go out to him.
But it's separate.
But you got to listen to my. This is
no.
My
I did listen to it. You're talking about two separate things.
Exactly.
I'm going to applaud Chris Rock for not assaulting back. That has nothing to do with feeling. Or who's to blame?
I don't operate on feelings. I'm not trying to blame nobody.
So there's no blame.
Yeah, well, if you're a person that's into throwing blame around, again,
what do you mean? There's an assault happened. Okay, we're going to attack this legally. Did an assault happen? Did one human being assault another human being?
And for the record, you know I don't give a fuck about American justice system, but legally,
okay, how about world? Because no matter where you go in the world, there's assault and there's a victim. So you feel more compassion for the perpetrator than the victim. You're trying to associate. I applaud Chris Rock, which, by the way, I applaud Chris Rock because you're more of a fucking man than I am.
That's way more stand-up shit.
No.
See, but that's what people.
It's completely different. But it's completely different.
What's different?
I have respect for the man who didn't like. I am not kidding. I would have found a fucking you 6'2", I'm 5'11". You better hope there was nothing there. I would have charged, man. I would have. I'm with you.
Go ahead.
I would not. Can you really? Do you think David and I were at, we'll call it HOB one time, and the DJ started attacking Muttons, and Muttons had his hands up, and since Muttons doesn't have I'm not putting his real name, I can say,
yeah,
Muttons put his hands up, and the DJ kept digging into him.
Mm-hmm.
I got between Muttons and the DJ, and went off. I mean, went off because you were bullying somebody who literally was giving up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chris Rock put his hands behind his back. You literally slapped a dude who put his hands behind it. But you're trying to combine the respect. You're trying to combine the respect for Chris Rock not retaliating with who you have. No.
That is
You are
major in this situation.
completely set. You're trying to combine two things that are complete opposite. Chris Rock's self-control. You're basically saying since Chris Rock had self-control, it was okay that Will Smith assaulted him,
That's
and it
not
was
what I'm
more
saying.
of it
That's
was
not
more
what
of
I'm
you know
saying.
I feel more compassion for Chris Rock. You know, I mean, I feel more compassion for the guy who assaulted the victim than the actual victim who. Just because he had self-control doesn't mean you have more compassion for Will Smith. That is.
Let me
You literally victim
let
blamed.
me let me let me
You
let me
literally
let me
victim
let me
blamed.
try to explain it to you in a different context.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we need to do another 1 to 10 of respect? I mean, because that you would, I would, God, I would hope you wouldn't have more respect for Will Smith for this specific incident. I'm not talking about anything else.
Zach, you're talking respect. You're talking assault. You're talking all these logical aspects of shit. Will Smith was not logical in this situation, bro.
I'm not. I don't want to get in because that we've discussed it. You think that if you got shit going on in your life, you can do whatever the fuck you
and
want.
emotions. I'm not saying you could do whatever the fuck you want.
You just excused Will Smith for
I
doing it because he
never
had shit.
excuse.
Well,
I
he was
never
temporarily
excuse.
insane.
I never excuse.
Oh, he was temporarily insane. That's an excuse.
It's not an excuse. It's a reason. It's not an excuse. It's a reason.
Well,
and a reason is definitely different than an excuse. I'll tell you the difference between a reason and an excuse.
I have a question for you.
Ask me something, and if I don't let me give you a direct response, and it's what I really feel, then I can dig a excuse out of my asshole, bro.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you. I got a question. So when do you think Will Smith? So temporary insanity means you don't know right from wrong. Would you agree, and this is a yes or no, would you agree or disagree by the time he gave his speech, although he was a punk-ass bitch and didn't apologize to Chris Rock himself, do you agree or disagree that he was out of his fucking bullshit temporary insanity? Was he still in it?
He was still in it.
Now, how is that possible? Because temporary insanity is defined as not knowing right. No.
Go ahead.
How is that possible when temporary insanity is defined as not knowing right from wrong? Otherwise, if you murdered somebody, claim temporary insanity, then the assumption would still be that you knew right from wrong.
Okay, can I answer?
Sure. But I don't want some fucking long ass deal.
I'm going to give it to you.
Okay.
If he knew right from wrong, all that fucking apologizing would have been to one individual. Fuck the Oscars. Fuck the families. Fuck everybody. If he was in his right mind, bro, if I have a problem, if I'm going to give a goddamn it apology, it's going to be to that one person. He didn't hit nobody else.
But he's a selfish fuck.
Regardless of your personal opinion.
You're talking about an hour. So at what point? So at what point does he come out of it? You just let everybody. I mean, I'm assuming right now he's still temporarily insane.
He might be. I don't know.
Okay,
but
so
I know he was at that
yesterday
point.
Was just temporary insanity.
He was.
So everything for you, if somebody does something wrong, is just temporary insanity.
It's not a justification. It's a reason. It's not a justification. I just pointed out a reason. I call it a spade a spade.
Temporary insanity is justification.
In your opinion.
No, in the world's opinion of the world. If you say somebody is temporarily insane, I think you may be trying to say he was not temporarily insane, but in such an emotional state that he was just fighting his way forward. It's kind of like, think of if you're in the middle of the desert, right?
Right.
And you have heat exhaustion. Mm-hmm. For the most part, you put your survival into autopilot. That's not temporary. That is, I think that is more of what you're looking for. Is when it happened, he just kind of went into autopilot. Like, fuck you, you're not going to fucking say that to my wife. Bap! Autopilot. He may have realized, fuck, obviously he did because he apologized to everybody. And then from there on, it's just autopilot. Because, I mean, there's pictures and videos of him smiling, laughing, and dancing and having really good times at after parties till like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. So, I mean, I'm assuming that's temporary insanity as well.
Maybe he snapped back by that point.
Oh, but
he snapped back by that point.
But that means he knows right from wrong, right? So if you're saying he snapped out of it
at the party and dancing,
he's still partying and not doing what a man should be doing. because we had that discussion before. A man apology. I mean, you asked
Bro,
the question before if I had ever done something and then looked back on it and said, "Fuck, I shouldn't have done that."
and that should be right there, though.
I have the perfect example.
I'm listening.
A person who was staying at my house showed up, and I found that he had weed in my house. And it was almost bam bam. Like I found it within a, furious. Within a minute, he walks in the door. I hit him 3 times, pushed him out the door, and told him I'd throw his shit out. And you're not staying here anymore. So within 10 minutes, this is back when you really didn't have cell phones and Nextel was like the big thing. I called him and said, "Hey man, I'm sorry. You can't live with me. I shouldn't have done that." Immediately, I did it because a man apologizes. And yes, I was in my 20s, but I still had the know-how to move forward and know, man, there was a better way for me to do that.
You had to know how.
No. And as human beings, no. Because now that's your other deal. We excuse everybody because they don't have that is an excuse. Again. Well, that's you. Well, okay. How about you? How about the next door neighbor? When you if you haven't had what should we do? Hey, look, people, if y'all don't have the fucking life skills when you hit 40 years old, y'all need to move into the fucking country or something, and y'all can all sit out there and fucking slap each other and have road rage and whatever the fuck shoot at grocery stores. A fucking 3-year-old girl that was just shot in fucking Dallas. I'm assuming whoever shot her was just in an emotional state. We give all these people these fucking bullshit excuses. I'm gonna go temporarily insane. I don't know who I'm gonna kill. I don't know anybody that want to go
insane. Your feelings and your emotions take over, and that's what shit is.
You're no every longer time you in get angry, you can't say, "Well, that's temporary insanity." No, it's not.
Why get angry if you have self-control? Why
you
don't
angry? Think that was angry him doing that? Get your wife. Get my wife's name out your fucking mouth. You don't think that was anger?
Hey, Zach, check this out. Hey, listeners, check this out. And wife, I know you listening. Check this out, bro. My wife know me. If we anywhere. And we have been places before where there's some shit went on with my wife, or she had a thought, an idea about something, and she brought it to me, or I looked at her and she felt some kind of way. I'm not about to just say, "Damn, wife, that made you feel bad. Let me go and take care of this." You know what I'm saying? This bad server that brought you cold food. Let me go and smack this guy that looked at your beautiful body or was disrespectful, grabbing your hand, and I was 3 steps behind you. Bro, this shit doesn't happen. But again, I have the ability to control myself and assess situations quick second, the same way I did when I played linebacker, having to make these quick second decisions.
But nobody else does.
So I don't get my fucking head knocked off by this guard or this tight end that's coming to crack.
But nobody else does.
I don't say they don't. I can only speak for me. But if
they don't do what you do,
I'm responsible.
Then they're temporarily insane.
I could only be responsible and accountable for mafia.
Right. But we're not talking about mafia.
Be responsible and
we're not talking about mafia. We're talking about. So, and this is the funny thing. You always say, "I don't believe in the laws." You register your car, you pay your taxes. You can't tell me when you obey the laws of the land. And matter of fact, your Bible says, you said that the other day, obey the laws of the land. Laws are laws are laws are laws. By the way, if the Oscars had been in Texas, the state of Texas has the ability
over the case
to,
and all
to
that old puss ass shit that man made.
Why not?
Yeah, I get it.
You know where it comes from,
I don't
right?
care.
It comes from Warren Moon beating the shit out of his wife.
I don't care where it comes from.
And her saying, no, it's okay.
All this legislation, bro. We can go anywhere in the world, right?
So why don't you break the law more? Fuck getting your car registered, fuck license plate, fuck inspection. Don't get your driver's license.
I can tell you why I don't break the law
more.
Why? Because first and foremost, I'm responsible and accountable for my own actions. And I'm always mindful and conscious.
But you're obeying the laws of the land. You're saying you're not, you don't recognize.
I'm not saying I don't recognize it. I don't say.
Hey, you do know that in Overton, Texas, there's an entire group that doesn't register their cars. They don't get their driver's license, and they do it because they view Overton as the state capital of Texas or some shit. It's a weird deal. I used to own dry cleaners there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could move there and you could be just like them and not obey any laws.
Well, because of what my life is based on, my life principles, I am commanded through the commandments of God in the King James Bible to follow the laws of the land, which I do to the best of my ability. Now,
But you don't believe in
do I
them.
pledge allegiance to
You mean
them,
you don't believe
or
in
do I
assault? You don't believe in any of that stuff.
listen? I'm not saying I don't believe in
You just
assault.
said it earlier when I said somebody assault. Well, that's illegal. Like, okay,
Well,
how am I
I was
supposed to do it?
speaking from a
If Cain
terminology
slapped
aspect.
Abel, would it be okay if Abel made fun of Cain's wife? I mean, I don't know how to give you an analogy where I don't get. Well, I don't believe in laws of the land. It's not trying to lock you into you're a law abiding. You have to believe in America. I'm trying to get you to the point, just like with Will Smith and Chris Rock, the amount of compassion that you would have for one or the other. It wasn't about the law. It's about right and wrong. And if you don't think
He was
that
wrong.
slapping somebody,
He was wrong.
so how is it that the person who was wrong gets more and I keep going back to it because I'm just
Because
dumbfounded
again,
by
you're
it.
trying to quantify my fucking feelings and emotions about how I feel about somebody, man.
But you want to
Don't look
combine
at
the
it from a
respect.
quantification of my
You want to
how I feel about
combine
two
the
individuals.
respect you have for Chris Rock with the compassion. They're two separate things. I said compassion. Now, let's do that. Who do you have more respect for in this specific incident? Who do you have more respect for? Chris Rock or Will Smith?
Again, for the umpteenth time, I have more respect for Chris Rock.
Right. But compassion, you can't mix the respect you have for Chris Rock with how you give more compassion to Will Smith. I feel for Will Smith. I mean, I read an article today, and I can tell you what he has gone through with Jada. Dear Lord, would drive anybody crazy.
Who's not in control of their mind?
Nah, I'm talking.
If
They
you
were
can't,
on a
if
break, not on a break, friends thing.
I don't
She was
care.
sleeping with
Ma-
two.
Billions
No,
of
no,
people
no.
go through
And
that
she
shit
was
every fucking
sleeping
day
with
around the globe, bro.
Tupac
I
while
don't give a fuck.
Tupac
There
was
ain't no
married.
justification.
And then she was cheating on him with some person, and come to find out, and now that's why I don't understand. Would I defend my woman? Yes. Would I be with a woman who has done all the bullshit that they've gone through? No. In that scenario, I'd have been like, girl, you pretty fit yourself. Go ahead and slap that little midget motherfucker. I'll stand right behind you if he tries to move anything.
And that would have been cool.
It wouldn't have been cool. But
you saying it.
I don't know. What I'm saying is, if she was so fucking offended, she should have gotten her own ass up there. But all the shit that she's done, and don't get me wrong, I don't know. Will Smith probably wasn't a fucking saint. For all we know, he was doing his thing. But I'm a because we're at 53 minutes.
Oh man, this is gonna be the best 7 minutes of our life right here.
I'm gonna tell you right now. My final thought is this: Will Smith, you a punk ass bitch. And that's number one. Number two, my name is Zach Whiteside. You can hit me up anytime. I'll take an ass whooping, but I promise you, you better be prepared. I'm gonna hit you on my fucking ass. I would never. It makes me think if I back in the day when they had the microphones with the wire, that motherfucker would slap me back. I would pop. Oh, and I wouldn't hit you when you're on the ground, but I'd be right behind you sitting in a chair going, come on, motherfucker, get up. Get up. As soon as you were halfway up, I'd fucking kick you in your face, you punk ass motherfucker. Even if I gave him, and I've said this already, even if I gave him the slap as I think there's a difference between temporary insanity and a knee-jerk reaction. Me hitting old boy for having weed in my house, I'm fine with all the weed smokers in the world. I'm 100% on for it. I don't smoke weed. Let's just say I didn't need it in my house, and we'll leave it at that. That was a knee-jerk reaction. Even if I give Will Smith the knee-jerk reaction of slapping Chris Rock, he knew what he had done wrong. He got up to that podium. He did his acceptance speech. And you and I, you even said the same thing. I would have said, "Hey guys, we need to take a second. I need to know where Chris Rock is at. Please, dude, I'm sorry. Will you come up here?"
Mhm.
No buts, because anything that comes after anything comes before a but is just nothing. I shouldn't have done it. No matter what, I'm sorry, man. It shouldn't have gone down like that. Even if I don't give him that, you don't go after you do some shit like that and go party till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning having a good time. Without, I mean, God, we live in an age of Twitter and Facebook and every fucking social media, and his first thing comes out late Monday. Chris Rock, man, I hope you get paid. I mean, I know Chris Rock doesn't have Will Smith money, so
Okay.
you
So,
you get all his money. Fuck, take his wife. I mean, she'll sleep with fucking anybody anyway.
okay. So this is my rebuttal to all of it, bro.
We're
Again,
rebuttaling each other here
yeah,
today.
this is my rebuttal to the whole shit, bro. Again, man, and this is just from me. I can only speak from my life experience. Again, Mafio the reminder, remind thought innovator. Control your mind, control your world. Because if you don't control your mind, some person, place, thing, or situation will. When I was raised, I told you 6 years old, responsibility and accountability was top priority. And when I didn't fulfill, it was major consequences. Extension cord whoopings. My mom told me, bro, you make the bed, you lie in it. You understand what I'm saying? I was always mindful of that. At 17, 18, especially in the environment I come from. And then to go out and do something to someone that I wouldn't want done to me. Think about it, Zach. You did that shit, bro. And how can you say that a fucking apology is good enough? Again,
It's a start.
I know it's a start, but again, you committed an act. I'm speaking beforehand. All this shit has to be done beforehand. If we playing football, you have your pre-snap reads, bro. When you go into life and you got situations, it would be very recommended and advised to do a pre-snap reading of what the fuck the situation, what just happened. Hold on. That's why people say take 5 seconds, take 10 seconds to calm yourself down because there's things that's going on inside of us, these feelings and emotions, these archetypes, these examples that we had that transform our fucking minds and our personalities to make us act and react in different kind of ways. If you don't know yourself, then that shit will come out, bro, whether you know it or not. And all these gun violence, all this police shit, all his actors in this, everything in this world, bro. If they were more mindful and aware of themselves, then a lot of this shit wouldn't be going on because they wouldn't be pressured by a lot of these things that's going on in their personal life.
So,
We all
question:
go through it. And then your question.
how do you make it in a world? Okay, your how does somebody? I
Just
don't
ask the
know.
question, baby.
I mean, it it, it's just hard to how to put this shit together.
Put it together.
Um, how does somebody survive? I guess that would be kind of the end to it. How does somebody survive as long as, let's say to 40 years old, that doesn't have the ability to cope? Because if you don't have the ability to cope, we see it all the time. Drug addicts, murderers, gang banging in the streets. This isn't, Will Smith is not some, you know, random person on the street. Like, I mean, Dave put up there that, this isn't just some random, this is somebody who I get that, we don't know their emotional side to it, but at whatever age has survived long enough without murdering a bunch of people and had self-control, you know, it follows an assumption that if you do something, you're not. I wouldn't do it at my age.
You wouldn't.
In my 38, 39, 40 years old, you know, it's just most people wouldn't. I mean, who I don't get it.
Exactly. So check this out. And it was a traumatic situation. It was the first time something I'm sure has happened to him. And I'm sure
No,
we
it's not. He even admitted to it. He admitted that people had been slamming his wife and everything else, and he's been in the same room with them.
let me
It's
tell
not it's not a new thing for
let
him.
me paint the picture and give you my what I meant by that. It's the first time someone has assaulted your wife
He
on
didn't
that.
assault her. You're not going to combine made fun of her, sure.
Okay,
Joked about her,
it's the
fine.
first time someone has made fun of your wife on national TV with millions of motherfuckers watching. It's
It's
the
not.
first time. It's not.
He even said it's not. In his little thing yesterday, he's like,
Listen
"We
to the
deal with this all day long. We deal with it every day of our lives.
of people
So it's
saying
not
it right
new."
here. It's never been when in the same room in front of millions and millions of people, is what I'm trying to point out to you, bro. That is a big determining factor. It's a traumatic situation, some you've never encountered one
We already get that you
before.
think you got
But
temper insanity.
so how can you know what I'm saying?
I mean, knee jerk react. Everybody who has a knee jerk reaction now gets to just say temper insane. I mean, I can
No,
tell you right now, I
everybody
don't
that
give
have
a
a
fuck.
knee jerk reaction need to goddamn it go get some counseling and get to know themselves to understand why your feelings and emotions made you do this. Because in your right frame of mind, I don't think you'd have did the shit you did
You
right then.
53 years
I don't
old
give a
and you
fuck if
now
you're
have to
93
find
years old.
yourself. You need to go jump off a fucking
I don't
cliff.
care, bro. You can't put a number on maturity. You can't put a number on life skills. You can't put a number on a lot of this shit, man. Because everybody don't experience life like you,
But
and
you
that's another
can.
big
It's
thing.
an
Hold on.
organized deal.
It's not an organized deal because the way you learn is different than the way I learn. Is different than the way all these hundreds of
But you
people
would
on this
just let
podcast
everybody do
listen and
whatever the
learn.
fuck they
I'm not
want.
saying, but there's no structure and parameters. Think about this. When we were growing up back in the in the 70s and 80s, that was principles. That was things.
You might be the 60s.
When we were growing up in the late 70s
I
and
just want to
80s,
make that clear. I'm
when
not
we,
a 60s
when we were
baby.
growing up in the late 70s and 80s, we didn't have the influence of social media. We had to learn from what our environment gave us. Now people are growing up, and a lot of these people growing up that's 30, 45, 50 years old is learning a lot of
When
different
we
life,
we
learning a
talked
lot
about
of
that
different
in
life skills
coping.
from
No,
so.
no, I got you.
And then you
Coping.
want to talk about coping. I'm glad you brought that back
We've
up
already had our
because
coping.
you talk about drug addicts and murderers and all this kind of shit. Bro, maybe that's their coping mechanism. My coping mechanism is controlling my motherfucking self and my feelings and emotions.
And so
They
Will
coping
Smith is
mechanism is,
slapping people.
man, I don't know what it
First
is.
person he's
At
ever
that
fucking
point,
slapped.
how you know that?
He hadn't slapped somebody bigger than him, or we'd have heard he
How
got his
you know
fucking
that?
ass. It's
How do
fucking
you
wet.
know
How does he
that?
fucking go anywhere and not slap anybody?
He probably
You're
running
telling
around.
me he's running around slapping people and
He
nobody
might
knows about
be
it?
if you don't know about it.
Motherfucker, that dude is too famous to with Twitter. You just said it. Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, whatever the fuck you watch. There are way too many things out there. I mean, you can't. Will Smith just ain't out
Again,
there walking down the road going, I'm gonna slap motherfuckers. It doesn't work that way. He saw a dude who was smaller than him. Even said if it was Dwayne Johnson, it was somebody bigger. If it hell, let's go even somebody smaller. I guarantee if that would have been somebody who was an actual fighter, fucking Mayweather, because Mayweather, I don't care how small Mayweather is, Mayweather would have done that board shit and then beat the shit out of his ass. He didn't go up there and assault anybody. He hasn't shown up at the offices of all these people who are saying these horrible things. That one, the first article I read about Jada cheating was a horrible. Whoever wrote that, you should be flogged in the streets. Because then I find an actual article that's like, well, they were kind of on a break and it happened, and this is why it had all the different breakdowns, which, by the way, made a ton more sense. But I never heard about him hunting that dude down. We don't hear about him doing all these things. It's like kids and violence in video games. They talk about how all these kids watching these video games don't understand what the true meaning of violence is. They don't understand. They think that shooting somebody in real life is just as easy as shooting somebody in a video game because they become desensitized. So if we go off the idea that Will Smith they've been getting this shit for years, for 20 something years, you should be desensitized, which, by the way, throws out the idea of temporary insanity. I think he got pissed. He did not deal with it correctly, but then he didn't continue to deal with it correctly. Again, if I give him the slap, he just piled shit on it until Most likely they came to him and said, "Look, you really need to put something out there because you done fucked up." I'd have had respect for you to put that tweet saying, "Hey man, I'm gonna drop this award at the Academy. If they decide to give it back to me, it would be my honor to keep it or to receive it back. But I'm gonna make sure that y'all understand that I truly recognize he's had too many fucking opportunities to step up and he hasn't
Zach, I
done
have a
it."
question.
Yeah.
Okay. So every father on the face of the planet that's not involved with their biological children,
Mm-hmm.
okay, is it fair to call them all deadbeat dads and they ain't shit?
No.
Okay. Okay. So
How is
again,
that? Please
again,
associate it with our
and
topic.
I'm about to
Okay.
because every situation is different. There's so many intangibles, and you throwing out all these intangibles of a particular event or situation. And there's everybody is different. The way you think, the way I think, the way the world think, the way what we know is
I gotcha.
different. How we
But we're
handle
not
all this shit is different. But
but
at the same time, when you group all this shit together with intangibles and not call a spade and talk about it's like how are we going to talk about a tree, right? If we have a problem and it was represented by a tree, why we
okay.
want to talk about the leaves and the branches if we want to really know about this tree?
Okay. So
I'm
wait,
going to
hold on.
go
No,
to
no,
the
no. You
I
you
want
went
to go
off in the
to the
left
roots
field.
of
So
this shit.
let's
I
go
want to
back to
know
your
to the
first
roots of
one.
this. Go ahead.
We don't know the different situations about, are they all Debbie Dog? You don't know. You're talking about somebody who lives 90% of their life in the limelight. There's no like massive secrets sitting out here for Will Smith. They've been open, for God's sakes. They've done interviews with Oprah and her talking about her relationship with that rapper. I mean, they have intentionally, they have lived.
I have a question.
No, they have
No,
put
no,
their,
no, no, no.
no, you got to let me finish.
I
So it's not like it's some secret. No, because you want to go from one topic
I
to a
just
completely separate example
I actually
without addressing the first one.
I just wanted to inquire about something you said, but go
No,
ahead.
no, but you can't say, hey, well, let's give this as an example and then go off into a tree thing. We don't know the different situations, but Will Smith and Jada Pickett have intentionally put their lives on display.
And you think it was 100% transparent?
I don't know.
I
He's
have a
sitting there
question.
crying
You
about
you
her
making a
cheating.
judgment off this?
No, I'm
Do
not
you
making any judgment off that.
What you
My
put it
only
out there?
judgment of Will Smith is him slapping
Okay,
Chris Rock.
but you
I
brought up
loved Will
okay,
Smith
okay.
until that whole, and honestly, I thought it was a joke when they first did it.
So my point is, you talking about how they putting their life out here. Do you think it was 100% transparent from both parties? Yes or no?
Well, obviously not, because she lied and put press releases saying she didn't have an affair with that guy, and then come to find out they fessed up to it.
So you want me to take some shit that you just mentioned where it's probably not 100% fact and not supposed to go
Which
by
part?
that?
Which part?
That they're being 100% transparent and we have
No, no,
all the
no.
information
I'm
about
telling
their
you that they're putting their life on display. You're acting as if they're
they're
out. Will
putting
Smith is out there slapping
they're putting
people.
part of their life
I
on
mean, could
display.
Will Smith walk down the street and nobody knows who Will Smith is? He's one of the
That's
few
not what I'm
people in
saying.
the world that
But
everybody,
what
he's
happened
out there
behind closed
slapping
doors?
people.
What's happened behind
So
closed
you're
doors?
telling me that they hire homeless people to go to Will Smith's house, pay the homeless person money, and just slap the shit out of him?
No.
So who all
For
is he
all I know,
slapping?
hell, he could be slapping Jada motherfucking ass. He could be slapping his kids. He could be slapping people in business meetings. He could be smacking people, you know what I'm saying, in the bathroom of a movie set. I don't know. I don't know.
I can just see Will Smith just running around going, slap one, slap two. I wonder if he left hand slaps the women, right hand slaps the men.
Think about this part too, because this is and think about this.
Yeah, we're way
Bro,
over, but I like this.
if you're that furious, bro, you mean to tell me you're gonna open hand versus closed hand? Bro, if I'm going to get at a motherfucker, I can hurt you worse from my experience with a closed hand than an open hand.
Actually, you want to give people respect? I'm gonna give Will Smith a little bit of respect. Ready? I would rather get hit with a closed fist than be slapped. Because if I slapped you, that means I think you're so much of a pussy that you can't take a hit.
And with that being said, this is the People Rebuttal Podcast. Oh, I love it. And thank you all for joining in, man. Look, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube at the People's Rebuttal. Hey, Zach, I appreciate this. I had so much fun
Love you,
today.
man.
I had so much fun today. I thank all of our listeners for joining in. And again, as we say, we are the People's Rebuttal. We are here for y'all. And I think these kind of conversations are great to like, you know, conversations need to be had like this about, different things because it may expose you or open your mind up to something you never thought about and have one of those, damn, I never thought about it like that. Or damn, I
You
never
had
knew
that.
that. And I get it. And that's why we do this, man. So with that being said, guys, please throw topics out there, throw conversations out there, have questions for us. Cause I think the more we talk about some of this stuff, it'll be enriching for if it is just one person in a year of us doing this podcast. I think we went above and beyond our calling. With that being said, man, I
Thanks,
love
guys.
y'all. Every Tuesday and Friday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, Facebook, Twitter,
YouTube.
YouTube. And with that being said, Zach, if you good, I'm good. I love y'all.